Last tournament, it's difficult on the body, mentally, physically you're exhausted, but for our country we're wanting to give everything, and then to lose in that way is really cruel,
England couldn't end their 58 years of hurt with their Euro 2024 final defeat by Spain in Berlin, leaving the 1966 World Cup as their only men's trophy. Has it always been this tough for them? I don't think so. After all, history is full of unforgettable moments. Let's take a closer look and see what we find. Stay tuned. Let's dive into some of the greatest England players in European Championship and World Cup history to figure out where it all went wrong. We've got some familiar faces like Southgate's own Harry Kane and Jordan Pickford celebrating a win against Switzerland. Can you guess who else has shined at the Euros and World Cup? Now, this isn't a list of the greatest England players ever, but a ranking of those who've excelled specifically in the European Championship and World Cup over the years. Let's get started with number 10. 10. Michael Owen. Did you know only 3 players have scored in as many as 4 different major tournaments for England? Michael Owen is one of them. His rise to fame as a teenager at France '98 was spectacular, even though he couldn't quite sustain that level throughout his career. Despite some brilliant moments in the 2000s, like his early goals against Brazil and Portugal, England couldn't capitalise, and Owen's international career ended with a heartbreaking injury in 2006. But don't worry, because we've still got some other legends to consider. I mean, we're only just scratching the surface, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to stay up to date with all our latest sports videos. But speaking of Euro champions, we have to talk about Harry Kane. 9. Harry Kane. Even when he's had a tough tournament, Kane has managed to score, bringing his total to 14 goals in 27 World Cup and Euros games, 4 more than any other England player. His consistency in major tournaments is truly insane. Now, Kane has yet to have a consistently stellar summer for England. Euro 2016 was rough for everyone. He won the Golden Boot at the 2018 World Cup without scoring past the quarter-finals, and both Euro 2021 and the 2022 World Cup had slow starts and tough endings. What do you think of Kane's performance? Should he be ranked higher? And while we're on the subject of some of England's standout players in European Championship and World Cup history, you know who else makes the cut. 8. Paul Gascoigne. Gazza's impact was brief but unforgettable. Since Euro 96, his spirit is always evoked in every England tournament. He played 11 games between that summer and the 1990 World Cup, with memorable assists and that stunning goal against Scotland. He dragged England to 2 semi-finals within 6 years, leaving an unforgettable mark. And we can't forget to mention one of England's greatest goalkeepers. 7. Gordon Banks. They won't remember me for winning the World Cup. It'll be for that save. Banks himself said it best. While he played a crucial role in England's 1966 triumph, his career-defining moment was a group stage save 4 years later. Many believe England would have reached another semi-final if Banks hadn't fallen ill before the West Germany game in Mexico. 6. Ashley Cole. Let's talk about Ashley Cole. It's tough to objectively assess the golden generation without feeling the disappointment of their near misses. Cole was a fixture in every England tournament from the 2002 World Cup to Euro 2012. The only time he wasn't one of their best players was in the penalty shootout against Italy in 2012, thanks to Andrea Pirlo's brilliance. Otherwise, Cole was incredibly reliable. Cristiano Ronaldo never got the better of him, even in England's encounters with Portugal in 2004 and 2006. Although Ronaldinho exposed him in 2002, many players struggled against that Brazil team. Imagine how close he would be to displacing Kieran Trippier in this lineup. What's your take on Cole's legacy? Speaking of legendary players, let's move on to Gary Lineker. 5. Gary Lineker. Gary Lineker's international career had an interesting twist. 6 games without a goal in 2 European Championships, but 10 goals in 12 World Cup games. He reached a quarter-final and a semi-final and is one of the top World Cup goal scorers, with most of his goals coming in knockout stages. Plus, he scored a hat-trick and even converted a penalty in a semi-final shootout. His most memorable World Cup moment? Quite literally, bricking it at the thought of an aerial duel against Kevin Moran. And now, let's talk about a more recent hero. 4. Jordan Pickford. It might sound surprising, but if England wins Euro 2024, Jordan Pickford could be considered their greatest tournament player ever. He was pivotal in England's semi-final run at the 2018 World Cup, conceded just 2 goals in 27 games during Euro 2021, was excellent at the 2022 World Cup, and has been reliable in Euro 2024. His penalty shootout saves only enhance his reputation as a keeper who never lets his country down when it matters most. Then we have Bobby Moore. 3. Bobby Moore. If Gordon Banks is remembered for his iconic save from Pelé, Moore's defining moment came in the same game with that tackle on Brazil's tricky forward Jairzinho. It perfectly showcased his elite anticipation and technique. Moore also had 2 assists in the 1966 World Cup final, making up slightly for a crucial mistake in the Euro 1968 semi-final against Yugoslavia. While Kane and David Beckham have captained England in more World Cup and Euro games, Moore remains the most iconic Three Lions leader. And moving on to another Bobby who makes the list. 2. Bobby Charlton. Sir Bobby Charlton once said, "I couldn't say for sure we would win it both in 1958 and 1962, but I'm confident we would have won it once," reflecting on a theoretical England squad with those lost in the Munich air disaster. Even among stars like Duncan Edwards, Roger Byrne and Tommy Taylor, Charlton would have shone. Charlton didn't play in Sweden 1958 and was part of a team that struggled to a quarter-final defeat against Brazil in 1962. By 1966, he was winning the Ballon d'Or, scoring crucial goals against Portugal in the semi-final and pulling the strings in the final against West Germany. His later tournaments didn't go as planned, but he scored in the third-place playoff at Euro 1968 and was famously subbed off with England leading West Germany in the 1970 World Cup quarter-finals. And finally, let's talk about a true goal-scoring hero. 1. Geoff Hurst. Geoff Hurst played just 7 games at World Cups and European Championships between 1966 and 1970, but scored 6 goals, hopefully celebrated with a nice glass of Budweiser. Hurst was never fully trusted as a starting centre-forward, yet he played like one. His legendary hat-trick in the 1966 World Cup final against West Germany, the only goal in a brutal quarter-final win over Argentina, and his assist in the semi-final against Portugal established his legacy. Hurst also helped secure England's 3rd place at Euro 1968 and scored the opening goal in their 1970 World Cup defence. Only Kane, Lineker, Shearer and Rooney have more goals for England at major tournaments than Hurst, so you see things haven't always been so dire. But lately, emotions have been running high as England fans are starting to feel pretty rough as the Three Lions return home without the trophy after a 2-1 defeat in the Euro 2024 final against Spain. Earlier, hopes of ending the 58 years of hurt were replaced by devastation and anger. It was truly heartbreaking. Some fans thought they were lucky enough to watch the match at the Olympia Stadium in Berlin, while the rest of us were stuck back home watching at pubs, official fan zones or street parties. But after the disappointment, it's hard to say who had it better. In Leeds, 4,000 people gathered in Millennium Square to watch the highly anticipated final at the city's biggest fan park. Tickets sold out in less than 3 hours. Francis Hall, a personal trainer from Wakefield, was so ecstatic when England equalised that he took his shirt off. Still topless after the final whistle, the 25-year-old told the BBC, "Everyone knows we won't win anything with manager Gareth Southgate," before putting his shirt back on. Emma Barlow from Crosspool said it was disappointing but good fun and that the team now needs to get ready for the World Cup. England fans are waking up with heavy hearts as this defeat means the 1966 World Cup remains their only men's trophy. For the 4th game in a row, England came from behind, but Mikel Oyarzabal's late winner dashed their hopes. Nico Williams put Spain ahead early in the second half, but Cole Palmer's brilliant equaliser looked set to take the game into extra time before Oyarzabal scored 4 minutes from the end. This is the 2nd European Championship final in a row that Gareth Southgate's side has lost, following their defeat to Italy on penalties in 2021. What do you think went wrong this time? If you enjoyed this discussion, make sure to check out our latest video on Jimmy Case. I'm sure you'll like it.